Good morning. It's E for MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com. It's about 22 minutes after 9 o'clock on Tuesday, the 26th of March, 2019. Quick reminder to traders to use risk capital that you can afford to lose or don't play this game. Tricky business. Markets can turn on a dime as we've seen overnight. All right, let's take a look at, first of all, we see a nice little W formation here. We took out this 1, 2, 3 at the 17 area overnight. So that's our primary support, trying to hold the market up right now. 1, 2, third time through trade right here. We get above the 17s. That was our initial target. See if we could get to that 17 to 18 test, and we get a nice pullback. Comes back, it sits here at the 9 area, and then it takes off again. And we've had this drive ever since late morning, the early morning hours, 5 o'clock-ish. And you could see this post right here at 12 that said, nope, you're not coming back, we're going up. So that's my squeeze pivot right now. Just looking at individual bars and trying to understand what's going on. So until that breaks, that's our support, and that's at our big pivot. And I think the 22.25 is a pivot of significance right now. And I believe the goal of the boys is try to squeeze a bit today, squeeze a bit, knock shorts back. Whenever we get this type of move overnight, done without a lot of volume, it's always suspect. And typically the convenient trade would be to short for a couple of points pre-market. I said, I think we're going to get some chop in the 18 to 23 range. That's what's happened. Typically, once they squeeze you, and they want to set the stage for perhaps trapping both sides, they're going to leave it up here. And then at the open, you try to come backwards, and then they can still jam you because of a squeeze. So I think there's a squeeze right now. If you're conservative, I would suggest don't do anything at the open. Kind of relax for a few minutes. Let's see if we can find a range to trade. I do believe the goal is to get higher and test the 28 to 32 by the time they're done. And even that 35 to 37 is not ruled out. Doesn't mean it has to be done today or early today or whatever, but that's the goal, is to dislodge the shorts. So for now, we're going to use that 25 to 28 as our aggressive resistance. And we're going to go step by step. Obviously, this 15 area, very important today. And if we get back under 12 and we stay under 28 and 12, that's good for the shorts. I don't know that that's in the cards, but we'll see. Here's our 2-day. We're going to be opening up in a couple of minutes. Here's our 2-day. We can see the middle. I've got 28.50 as a target for today and higher. But I also know that this middle back here at 35 to 38 is going to be very important going forwards. If not today, then tomorrow. And this formation is fairly bullish as long as we can hold this 10 to 12 area. That's going to be very key today. And here's our monthly look. We can see this box is held. So this 96.25 middle for the month is still intact and holding. And now this 13.75 to 14 area is also holding. So that's a key. And you can see where this 31.25 up here is going to be pretty important on this level. So can we bounce back? Sure. Then what happens is the key. So I'm thinking today that probably the best idea might be to try to buy pullbacks. And if you don't get one deep enough that you like, you have to be willing to miss trades. You have to say, okay, that was too aggressive for me. I didn't like the trade, and so I missed it. Here's our RTH5. Said yesterday at the end of the day, I said, well, 17, note that, 5 on the RTH. And I said the boys are going to try to get the 17 to 22s. Well, they've done that already. Quick peek here at a 10-minute chart. See where that comes in. So we're bumping into the 10-minute chart at these highs. Ends and 15s. So I'm going to suggest that 9 is our squeeze pivot, and then the 12. And trying to get up here and knock out these last highs from Friday. If we get above that, 32s are next, and then perhaps the 35s. So if you don't like this open, don't trade it. Just be patient for a couple of minutes and see if you find a trade you like. Reminder, the goal is to get 4 or 5 points a day per contract if we can. Every time you go in the hole and have to dig for that, it makes it more challenging to get yourself back on an even keel. So you're looking for the safer trades and the ones that resonate with you. I've got 21.5 demon angel back here in the 7 area. And our gap is going to be back down there as well. So this is a hard trade for people that are emotional. It's an easy trade for bots. Let me at them, whatever you want me to do. And I think we've got day 28 as our next significant resistance. A lot of traders have been focused on that. A lot of traders have been focused on 14. Our work shows the same, certainly. This is a 60-minute chart. I've suggested take a look at your 5s. You can see where this has been holding. And even a 2. And we are at the open. And this is, you can see how this 18 area has dug in. Got to beat that area. This was our 18.5 was yesterday's high. So until you penetrate back below that, this is a squeeze type trade. And that's the problem. A lot of traders do not recognize that right now. The squeeze is perpetuated if we stay above that prior high at 18.5. So right now, the market has reversed itself and the trend is up. And in the old days, the first thing you do is close your eyes and try to short. With the bots, you can't do that anymore. You just have to try to determine the order flow and the direction it's going. And right now, it's a squeeze type trade. And we've suggested this early rotation, think of 18 as the aggressive support, probably in that 18 to 23 zone. All right, we are now almost 20 points off of the overnight low. So anybody that's played long side, I'm not saying that's the top. I'm just saying be aware of the location. And I think anybody that wants to short may or may not work. Probably 25 to 28, maybe 50-50 odds that you can get something coming backwards early. And I'm counting on this as support. And I've suggested today you may want to try to buy the pullback, because this is a squeeze type trade. Here's a 1-minute chart. I felt pretty confident today that we're going to come up here and we're going to test that 28. Anybody that is long side, if you happen to say, I like your call, 18 has become our pivot. 22 is a big pivot directionally. What I said yesterday, I think we're going to see this become our pivot, this 18. And there was really no pullback to speak of pre-market. Normally the convenient trade is try to come back and get a few points. Remember I say get 1 or 2 points if we can. The inability to get back below this 18 has been the problem for the shorts. Doesn't mean we can't do it today, but there's a squeeze trade right now. The line of least resistance has been up to test that last high on Friday. Remember when it dumped? I'm considering good fortune above 28. And I do believe that's their target, as I said earlier, before they're done, to take out that 18 and test that 32 even. Risk reward starting to come into the picture. Thank you, James.